We are in chapter 2.
Chapter 2.
And I don't want to say the title because it kind of just gives it away.
Yeah,
NLT
titles,
is very just like,
yeah.
Not the title being the Spark Notes.
Yeah, shout out to NLT, but
yeah.
But come on, leave a little element of
surprise.
Come on, because our girls were like, oh, so he about to get.
Oh, so she.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? When we go after we went through the first chapter, they were like, "I thought the book was called Esther."
Right.
She's not mentioned in the first chapter.
We didn't say that.
Yeah.
It's called. We're diving into Esther. Everybody's like, "Oh yeah, we'd love to hear about Esther, this queen." Okay, why are we talking about other folks?
Yeah, like she's not even on the scene.
Not on the scene.
But chapter 2. We get into Esther.
We meet Esther.
This is actually also, maybe they start getting short after this.
This one is long too? Because you definitely say, yeah, this one.
I did lie and I apologize.
One of the few longer ones. You was thinking about the last. You
were
talking about chapter 10.
It averages out. Once we get towards the end, it'll average out for sure. But this chapter is very important. I will not be reading the title. But if you're reading along with us, you already know the title.
Yeah.
To God be the glory. But after Xerxes' anger had subsided, he began thinking about Vashti and what she had done and the decree he made.
Let me highlight that again.
Yeah. So his personal attendant suggested, let us search the empire to find beautiful young virgins for the king. Let the king appoint agents in each province to bring these beautiful young women into the royal harem at the fortress of Susa. Haggai, the king's eunuch in charge of the harem, will see that they are all given beauty treatments. After that, the young woman who most pleases the king will be made queen instead of Vashti. This advice was very appealing to the king, so he put the plan into effect. At that time, there was a Jewish man in the fortress of Susa whose name was Mordecai, son of Jair. He was from the tribe of Benjamin and was a descendant of Kish and Shimei.
Please.
His family had been among those who, with King Jehoiachin of Judah, had been exiled from Jerusalem to Babylon of King Nebuchadnezzar. We're digging into like the Daniel. That was King Nebuchadnezzar. This man had a very beautiful and lovely young cousin, Hadassah, who was also called Esther.
Hey, Esther.
When her father and mother died, Mordecai adopted her into his family and raised her as his own daughter. As a result of the king's decree, Esther, along with many other young women, was brought to the king's harem at the fortress of Susa and placed in Haggai's care. Haggai was very impressed with Esther and treated her kindly. He quickly ordered a special menu for her and provided her with beauty treatments. He also assigned her 7 maids, specially chosen from the king's palace, and he moved her and her maids into the best place in the harem. The best place. Esther had not told anyone of her nationality and family background because Mordecai had directed her not to do so. Every day, Mordecai would take a walk near the courtyard of the harem to find out about Esther and what was happening to her. Before each young woman was taken to the king's bed, she was given the prescribed 12 months of beauty treatments. 6 months with oil of myrrh, followed by 6 months with special perfumes and ointments. When it was time for her to go to the king's palace, she was given her choice of whatever clothing or jewelry she wanted to take from the harem. That evening, she was taken to the king's private room, and the next morning she was brought to the second harem, where the king's wives lived. There she could be under the care of Shagash, the king's eunuchs in charge of the concubines. She would never go to the king again unless he had especially enjoyed her and requested her by name. Esther was the daughter of Abihail, who was Mordecai's uncle. Mordecai had adopted his younger cousin Esther. When it was Esther's turn to go to the king, she accepted the advice of Haggai, the eunuch in charge of the harem. She asked for nothing except what he suggested, and she was admired by everyone who saw her. Esther was taken to King Xerxes at the royal palace in early winter of the 7th year of his reign, and the king loved Esther more than any of the younger women. He was so delighted with her that he set the royal crown on her head and declared her queen instead of Vashti.
Wow.
To celebrate the occasion, he gave a great banquet in Esther's honor for all his nobles and officials, declaring a public holiday for the provinces and giving generous gifts to everyone. Even after all the young women had been transferred to the second harem and Mordecai had become a palace official, Esther continued to keep her family background and nationality a secret. Mm-hmm. She was still following Mordecai's direction, just as she did when she lived in his home.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
One day, as Mordecai was on duty at the king's gate, 2 of the king's eunuchs, Bigthana and Teresh, who were guards at the door of the king's private quarters, became angry at King Xerxes and plotted to assassinate him. But Mordecai heard about the plot and gave the information to Queen Esther. She then told the king about it and gave Mordecai credit for the report. When an investigation was made and Mordecai's story was found to be true, the two men were impaled on a sharpened pole. This was all recorded in the book of the history of King Xerxes' reign. I love this chapter so much.
A lot of things happen.
A lot of things.
Yeah. A lot of things.
You know what's funny? I didn't notice this before. King Xerxes' anger had subsided, and he began thinking about Vashti.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, I literally, like, I saw that. I was like, now I'm thinking about her now.
Yeah.
And, like, he thought it not.
Was that regret?
I don't know. So not only did he began thinking about her, he began thinking about what she did and the decree that he made. And that's the first verse. So
I don't know if that's remorse. I don't know if that's regret. Literally, the first thing I thought of as you were reading that is a verse in the Bible says, "But his anger is only for a minute, but his love towards us."
Yeah, in his favor is life. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If we're on the theme of the king.
Yeah. Oh, what's on the heart? Oh, the heart of the king.
Like, yeah, absolutely. He hates sin. Absolutely. He's frustrated with how we act. When we mess up over and over again. When we do the things we say we've repented for.
Yeah.
But it subsides.
Yeah. And he's a human, right? This is a human we're talking about, right?
And he's mindful.
He is, right? And we don't know what is rooted in this, but there's certainly some reflection. Yeah. So it's not, okay, that's done. We're moving on. Yeah. We are moving on, but wow. I'm starting to think about what occurred.
Yeah, because that was a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot happened. And then there's a search.
You know what's funny? I think it's, you know how, like, when you're going through, like, a breakup and stuff, you're like, bro, like.
Yeah, definitely
Yeah, like, in the moment, you're like, nah, get out of here. Like,
yeah.
you played me. Yeah. And then that ends, that subsides, and you're like, bro, we had such good time.
There's phases.
Like, there's of breakup.
Phases. Almost like the grief cycle. Like, there's phases.
You're angry. I can't believe you did this to me. Wow, how could they do this to me?
Wow, can't believe that happened.
Can't believe that happened.
Yeah.
And then, you know what it is? His homeboy comes up like, bro, get your mind off.
Right. Let's start the search.
Come on, we about to start the search. Vashti was no good for you. I never liked her.
Yeah. It was let's go. Let's find your queen.
Let's go for the love of Xerxes.
Okay, not for the love of Xerxes. Turn this into a reality TV show is.
We just watched the Ray J thing before this, so.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I might edit that out. Yeah.
I can't.
He suggests, like, listen, let us search the empire to find beautiful, and that's all you have to say to get the king's attention.
Yeah.
Like, beautiful.
Right.
Beautiful.
Okay, let's do it.
Young virgins for the king.
Yeah. Yeah. They're going out into a bunch of different provinces.
Yeah.
They're going everywhere.
Wherever she is, we're going to find her for sure.
Yeah.
We're going to find you your Cinderella. Don't even worry about that. That Vashti girl.
Yeah.
You're not going to even remember what she looked like.
Oh, no. Yeah. And there's somebody that's in charge of this, right? Hey Guy. We meet Hey Guy.
Yes.
He's in charge of, like, any of the women that are found.
Yeah.
So he's in charge of them. He has to make sure that they're, like, prepared for the king. So they're going out. They're looking for these folks, right? And because they're going everywhere, I'm sure that they're just like, we just need to find her. We're looking for her, right? They're not thinking about nationalities. They're not thinking about, well, we're just looking for purebred Persian. Yeah, no. They're looking for beautiful young virgins.
Yeah, that's the requirement.
That's the requirement.
You gotta be cute, babe.
Yeah.
Keep I'll hold yourself.
Like, you from...
Yeah.
All right. Cool. You're gorgeous.
Yeah.
Bring her in.
I love that he's immediately like, you're going to find someone who pleases you more than Vashti.
Yeah.
And you're going to make her queen.
Very encouraging.
And this advice was appealing to the king.
Yeah. Well, a lot of advice appeals to the king. Sorry to anybody that's in Xerxes' lineage.
So he put the plan into effect. Yeah. This is the second time that the king is taking advice from the eunuchs and something's going into effect.
For sure. For sure.
We are seeing how important, how important these eunuchs are to him. And it's almost like while it's whatever the king says goes, there's people in his ear that absolutely influence the king.
For sure. For sure.
He's highly influenced.
For sure. He is influenced.
It doesn't take much.
He is. He is. We meet someone else.
Go Uncle ahead. Morty!
Explain your favorite character.
Uncle Morty is the MVP. And I think even in this like small snippet they give us, we see that he's Jewish. We see that he's from the tribe of Benjamin.
Yeah.
And we were always Team Benny.
Yeah. Not Team Benny.
Team Benny, Team Joseph.
Hello.
Here,
Judah. Hello.
The favorite kids. And we are tribe of Judah, but I'm saying those were Jacob's favorites.
Yeah.
Because his wife, and we're not getting into that right now.
Yeah.
But
but the tribes are in there.
Of Benny.
Yeah.
And he has a beautiful cousin who he's raised as his own.
He has.
Hadassah, aka homegirl Esther.
Right. Esther
comes on the scene.
She steps up on the scene and she's beautiful.
Beautiful.
She is very beautiful.
Yeah. They make sure they tell us that. Very beautiful.
She's
and
very
a
beautiful.
lovely young.
Yeah.
Lovely young woman.
Yep.
And it's funny, right? Because not funny. It's God ordained that Esther now is a part of this search for the new queen.
Yeah.
She gets wrapped up or she gets swooped in that.
Yeah.
They say, come on down.
Yeah.
The price is right.
Yeah. I mean, she meets the requirements.
Because she's beautiful and she's young.
Yeah.
And she's a virgin.
Yeah.
And we know that because she's Jewish, so she's of course upholding those customs.
For sure.
And she's brought into this place with Haggai, and Haggai is impressed.
Very impressed.
He got a soft spot for the girl.
He is. Esther steps up on the scene and she just starts getting this special treatment.
Yes.
It's like, she just has this favor. She just comes in and she gets the best spot in the palace, right? Like she's getting these 7 maids tending to her. We don't know how many the other potential wives are getting, but like we get to see that she's like being lavished already.
Without doing anything.
Just
by being herself.
Yeah. Wow. Just being yourself. Like you could just step into a room and favor could literally just be there.
Yeah. There's something different about you.
Yeah, it's inner.
It's in you.
Yeah. It's in her. Yeah.
And I love that it's mentioning that she's doing all these things under the instruction of Mordecai.
For sure. And not only has he had her back, but he's literally her caretaker.
Yeah.
And I think one thing that's important to point out about Esther to Hadassah too, like, is that she's adopted.
Yeah.
Right? Like, she's being raised by her family.
Yeah, adopted.
But she is adopted. Her parents have passed away. And this is the person who is responsible for her as her caretaker. So, no, he's not her biological parent, but she respects him as such. She moves as such. And that's one of the secrets that she's keeping. She's very beautiful. She's getting this favor. She's not disclosing that she is adopted, that she's being raised by someone that is her relative. And she's not disclosing that she's Jewish.
Yeah.
So she's keeping that secret. And we can see that secret is being kept throughout the chapter because Mordecai hasn't instructed her to reveal that.
Correct.
She is not authorized to.
Yeah. And we find that Esther has her night with the king. Uh-huh. He loves her.
Yeah.
Falls in love with her.
Yeah.
And she's made queen.
Yeah.
That quick.
She is made queen.
Elevation.
She got the crown on her head.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Elevation is crazy because I can imagine being a different girl in the room and I'm like, what did she do?
Right. But she was just being her.
Yeah.
It wasn't her.
And God will sometimes put you in positions that you could not have even fathomed, that you probably don't deserve, you don't qualify for.
But it was for you.
But it was for you.
It was in his will.
Yeah. And all Esther did was be obedient.
Right. And all Vashti did was reject, not to bring Vashti back, Vashti fans. All Vashti did was reject or deny. She got booted from the kingdom. All Esther did was just be herself.
Yeah.
And she got all this.
But you know what's crazy? From Esther's point of view, I'm not mad at Vashti. Vashti made room for me.
For sure. It had to happen.
It had to happen this way.
Yeah, it had to.
If Vashti never said no, I wouldn't have the opportunity to say yes.
For sure. Who knows if I wonder if she knew all this was going on, all this drama.
Who, Esther?
Yeah. I wonder if she had to. Everyone knew. The decree was out.
Yeah.
To everyone. So
yeah,
they knew there was space for somebody else because somebody got the boot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's also important to note we're getting into Esther becoming queen, and she makes sure that Mordecai gets elevated as well.
For sure. For sure.
Mordecai becomes a palace official.
Yeah.
And Esther makes sure that that's so. And because of that, Mordecai has an opportunity to demonstrate his loyalty to the king.
Yeah, let's talk about that incident.
So you want to know what's interesting before we get into, Mordecai just being who he is, right? Even if this is a place where I'm not from here, my people were displaced here, I'm still going to be who I am. My character still stands. My loyalty still stands.
Yeah.
And before we get into those things, the people who are plotting against the king used to be his eunuchs.
Yes. Yes. They were in the inner court. Yes. 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 Yes.
Like,
yep.
Why? We are talking about the two eunuchs that were in Xerxes' inner circle now being the ones that are plotting to assassinate him.
B and T.
Yeah. And which is crazy because Xerxes, who are you having next to you? Who's in your inner circle? Are you not vetting these people? Sometimes it be the people in your inner circle that are plotting on you.
Close to you.
Plotting.
On
your downfall. On your assassination.
Trying to kill you.
But there's a Mordecai amongst them.
Yeah.
Who is like, this is not my God. This is not my region. These are not my people.
Yeah.
However, my cousin is in there.
Yeah.
And I have to do what's right.
For sure. What's right is right.
What's right is right.
Yeah. And Mordecai speaks up.
He
uses his plug. He uses Queen Esther. And he's like, hey, this is what's going on. Right? And, one thing about this scenario, it's like a very small snippet, but it's very intentional. And it's a very key point, like for this whole entire story, actually. But one thing about this for me is like, Mordecai goes and tells Queen Esther, right? He clearly doesn't have enough stain to go and like tell the king.
Yeah.
When we don't get the detail on this, but like when Esther drops the information to the king, like it clearly was taken seriously because there was an investigation.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, okay,
you have to take an assassination attempt. Plotting for assassination.
You should, right? But like she's new on the scene. So she's coming with this information.
Yeah.
And then it's found to be true. And it's like, okay, bet.
And she gives the credit to Mordecai. And it's recorded in the book of the history of King Xerxes' reign.
It is. Which means Esther can be trusted.
Mordecai can be trusted.
By the king.
They're loyal to me.
Yes, there's loyalty there.
Yeah. Which is a huge for the king because the last check mark.
Do it again?
No.
Let's put a sound on it. Go. Let's do it together. Go. Ready?
No. Why are we doing this?
Oh. I'll write it.
Okay,
go ahead. Come on, we're gonna do it together, right?
1, 2, 3.
Boom. Now you can edit that in. Very good.
I'm leaving that in. He has checked these two people to be loyal to him after he's checking two people to not be.
Oh, good.
You see the checks and balances there?
Good.
Like,
ooh, the exchange. That's so good.
These two people who were in my life, who I trusted, were plotting to kill me.
Yeah.
But God has brought in these other two people.
Yeah.
To replace them. Because anything you lose, God is always going to give you back.
For sure. To reveal and to replace.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so he's like, because I can't for me, I'm looking at all the units now.
Yeah.
I'm looking at all of them. You two got caught, but I'm looking at all y'all.
For sure. They were so close. They were supposed to protect him. They were guards.
Yeah.
Right? And the fact that like people that are supposed to protect you were out to kill you, to assassinate you, is really wild and scary.
That can give you like anxiety, trust issues,
for sure. Trauma. Yeah. And like you're saying, like it was taken seriously. It has to be taken seriously. It's an assassination threat, right? But it really does show that you have to really watch the company you keep.
Oh, for sure.
That everyone like around you is not for you.
A lot of times we're surrounded, but we're not supported. And so not everyone that...
All right now.
So not everyone that is in your circle, that is in your presence, is rooting for you.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes they're just watching.
Yeah. And you got to know that. Like, you have to know that. You can't walk around being naive, you know? Like,
yeah.
You know, this
discernment is so necessary.
It has to be. It has
we
to be a part of us.
Pray for discernment.
It has to be a part of us as Christians. It has to be literally a part of our walk. And we have to ask God to constantly reveal the people and agendas of people around us. Like,
and you know what the problem is, I think also, and I won't say problem, what we fall subject to is we think because of where people are that we can trust them.
Yeah, it's not just position. Yeah.
They're in their units, they're guards, so surely they can be trusted. And that's not true.
It's not true.
Because sometimes and I'm not bashing the church by any means.
Yeah.
But not everyone who labels themselves a Christian walks as so, or you know what I mean, or carries that as so. And so you just have to guard your heart with everyone.
Test everything.
Test everything, because the heart is deceitful.
For sure.
The Bible tells us that the heart is deceitful.
For sure.
And so the only person who knows the intent, the real intent of our heart, is God.
For sure.
And so we have to pray for his spirit and pray for his discernment to really see people the way God sees people.
Yeah.
Because the way we see people is faulty.
For sure. For sure.
It's faulty, it's misleading, it's deceptive, and we have to really pray for discernment in those areas.
We have to. Yeah, we have to. Otherwise, it can be to our demise if we don't.
For sure.
You know, and with the end of this story, it didn't end in the demise of King Xerxes. It ended in the demise of B&T, Big Tana, and Teresh.
Yeah.
They died.
They were impaled.
Yeah. They were impaled on a sharpened pole, which we will see later on. There's foreshadowing. Ooh, child.
They love a sharpened pole, baby.
Ooh, child.
In Persia, they love a sharpened pole.
The tea of the sharpened pole.
That's why you drink the tea. Is that what the kids are doing?
I don't know what they're doing.
The pedals would be proud if I'm doing this.
Oh, okay. No, they wouldn't be surprised that I'm sitting here just doing this. Shout out to the pedals. Hey, pedals.
Love y'all. They're gonna be like, oh, they know this. They can participate in this because we've dived into Esther.
Yeah.
So let's go into chapter 3.
Chapter 3.